Okay, first off, I'm going to admit this. I watched a few flat earth videos and some of them are pretty good. I really liked them and I've gone, wow, those are some really good points. And when you don't know the answer to a question, their points are convincing. But as soon as you do any real investigation, I've discovered most of their points fall flat. But there's one point they make, and I've not done any real investigation on YouTube, but there's one point they make that I haven't seen answered, and I know the answer to it, so I thought I'm gonna make a video about it. And it's a really simple point. Before we get into that point, I want to show, like with demonstration, what my point is. Now, you're going to go, what's your background in science? I don't have one, but I do have this jacket, so I sort of think this qualifies me. Now, admittedly, I am just wearing a pair of joggers, but I'm wearing the jacket, so I'm fully qualified to answer this question. A boat floats on water. We all know this. Unless, of course, it's got a hole in it, then it doesn't. But when it's moving along the water, it can go to the point where it's planing along the water, where it's going at such a speed, it rises up as much as it can out of the water. It doesn't mean it flies, it doesn't suddenly fly, but at a certain speed, it gets the least resistance from the water and pings along the surface as such. Now, the reason it does that is because at a certain speed, the water underneath it has enough power to lift the boat out of the water, but only at a certain speed. So below that speed, it won't work, it won't happen. Now, the same occurs with a plane. Now, how does a wing work? Now, I've got this piece of paper. Now, if I want the piece of paper to raise up, so I've got it sideways, if I want the piece of paper to raise up, if I blow underneath it, I've increased the air pressure below it and up goes the piece of paper. However, what happens if I blow down the paper like that? The answer is, it also raises. Not in the same way, but it also raises. Why? Because it lowers the air pressure above it. So the air that's coming down is decreased, allowing it to float. Now, if you could keep that constant, as in like a constant stream of air, this piece of paper would hold its position. So if it was at a certain speed, it would stay like that, a little bit faster, a little bit faster, a little bit faster, and it would maintain that position if I could get enough constant speed. So that is my demonstration of a wing on a plane. A plane, basically, the wing of a plane is designed so that as the air flows over it, the pressure underneath is greater than the pressure above. The plane rises. Where does the boat come into it? And the boat comes into it because it planes along the water, but it takes a certain speed. So, as it happens, my girlfriend's father is a pilot, and I posed this question to him. I said, flat earthers say that when you hit 36,000 feet, as the earth curves, why do you not have to follow it around? So you have to pitch the nose down. And he said, oh no, the earth is flat, tongue in cheek. And he said, oh, we've got flat earth stickers all over the plane. But then he said, what we do is we pitch the plane at 2 degrees. That's not 2 degrees, but yeah, you know what I mean. And then we take it to Mach 0.7 something. And at that speed, we know that the plane will retain 36, 38,000 feet, 40,000 feet, whatever. They know that they have to be at an exact speed to maintain that height at a certain angle. So what I have here is a very accurate and to scale detailed picture of the Earth, but I don't have a model plane. But fortunately I do have a xylophone, which is, you know, aerodynamically identical. If you put a jet engine on that, it's going to fly. So, you know, let's not quibble over silly things. So we take off from the ocean, obviously. You know, there's an aircraft carrier in the ocean, so don't worry about it. So we've taken off from our aircraft carrier on our xylophone. No, it's not a xylophone, is it? It's a harmonica. God dear. And I don't even have my jacket on now. I've taken it off. Let's correct that quickly before there's continuity issues with this video. Right, jacket's back on. Otherwise you're never going to believe me. This is science, come on. Science, get it right. Okay, so our harmonica takes off. Now this isn't 36,000 feet, but we're going to say it is. This would be like a couple of thousand a mile, so. But again, not important. Those are not the important bits. So our plane takes off. it finds its speed, pitches at 2 degrees, and now we know exactly what the pressure is underneath the wing and above the wing, and we know the air pressure. So if the air pressure was to drop, the aeroplane would drop. If the air pressure was to rise, it would rise. Obviously, again, thousands of miles difference, but on this it's 36,000 feet. So our aeroplane, it doesn't have to be directed, it would constantly keep its angle on that line. Never would it come off that angle. Ever, 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 because it is based on the conditions around it and the speed at which it's travelling. The only thing that would change the height of this is air pressure. Whereas what a flat earther says is, so you're going like this, you just keep going. But you wouldn't, because the air pressure constantly maintains. The air pressure is thinner the higher you go. So if you were to continue going like this, the air pressure would drop, but the pitch and the angle you've placed yourself at and the pressure would force your plane to just come back down and round. So if the air pressure was, in fact, to differ, you would, in fact, go up or down. But once you find the same air pressure, you maintain your 2 degree angle to that line. Simple as that. So my basic point is this. Does a plane not having to pitch down prove that there is a flat Earth? No, it can't. Just like a boat doesn't have to pitch down through the water, an aeroplane doesn't have to. So effectively, the air for a plane is doing the same job as water is for a boat. And a boat doesn't have to pitch its way around the Earth, it just goes. And that is exactly the same for an aeroplane. That's not technically scientific, but I've got the jacket on, so hello. A scientist would be able to say that in better language than I did. But I am essentially correct. I'm not going to make this some regular feature where I'm disproving flat earthers. I'm not interested. Flat earth is fake. So that's my answer to that. Don't believe the flat earth. It's nonsense.